Hey, what's up? It's John Sonmez from SimpleProgrammer.com. So I am standing in front of the Manta roller coaster at SeaWorld Orlando here, and I thought I would do a quick video since I'm here about overcoming fear. I've talked about this subject a couple of times. You can probably find the Get Up and Code episode where I talked about overcoming fear, and I've written a blog post about the different kinds of fears, which you can find here. There we go. And anyway, I thought I would give a little bit of just a kind of short way, some techniques that I found to overcome your fear that you might find useful. Since I have to admit here, I've said before that I've been afraid to. I used to be a very fearful person, actually. Used to be afraid to go on airplanes. Used to be afraid to get on roller coasters, and I've overcome that fear. I learned how to do it, and that's what I want to share with you today. So I'll tell you a little bit about this roller coaster for a second here. I'm sure you're going to see some of the images, but you can see, and you'll see in the background as people go, but basically you go vertical, so go face down, face first on this roller coaster, and it's got quite a few, I think 4 inversions, 4 loops in there. It's a pretty scary ride. Anyway, I never rode a roller coaster like this before, and so when we got here to SeaWorld this morning, my wife was saying, "Oh, we're going to put you on the Manta ride," and I was thinking, well, I don't know about that. I'm a little bit scared to do this, right? So I thought this is a good time to practice, what I've been saying about how to overcome your fears. And so what I did was I basically committed to the thing, first of all, right? And I made a conscious choice myself. Someone else didn't force me. Oh, there it goes. I didn't force, no one forced me, right? I made the choice, made the commitment. That's number one step. Now, the other thing is, where a lot of people go wrong with trying to overcome their fears is they expect that they're going to feel brave, or that they can talk themselves out of being afraid. You can't do that. You're going to be afraid when you attempt something or when you do something that scares you. The fear doesn't just go away. The only way that fear goes away is if you actually confront the fear and experience the fear. Now, here's the key part of this I think a lot of people get wrong, which is the idea of experiencing the fear, right? So my strategy today, when I got in line, I looked at my heart rate and it was jumping up there to 130, 140, 155. And this is before I even got on the ride, right? I'm just standing in line. And the default behavior is normally to try to ignore that, try to calm yourself down. But instead what I do is I try to experience the fear, try to feel the fear as much as possible, and to not ignore it, to just go through my mind. Okay, what am I feeling? Okay, this feels like this is going to be scary. Okay, right. I feel pretty frightened right now. Okay, that's fine. Let myself feel it. Don't try to block it out. When you try to block it out, it makes it worse, and you never experience the fear, so you never overcome it. So you're embracing the fear, essentially. And then when I got strapped into that thing, or right before I did, I said, okay, this is going to be the scariest ride you've ever been on. This is going to be the biggest thrill. And it is. I mean, and I was preparing myself for it, saying, not trying to say, oh, it won't be that bad, oh, it's going to be short. No, I try to make it as much as it's going to be. Try to be as realistic as possible facing that fear. And surprisingly, that actually gives you some amount of courage. When you try to suppress and you try to push it down and hide it, then you can't stop thinking about it. That's when you start to have problems. So the best thing to do really is to not try and suppress it, not to try and hide it, not to try to pretend like it's not happening or wish that it would go away. Instead, you want to experience it fully. So then I got on the ride, and once you're on the ride, once you're strapped in, there's not much you can do besides yell, "Get me off of this thing," right? So you're committed, you're locked in, and then you just open your eyes and experience the thing fully. So now, so now I've done the ride, right? And it wasn't that bad. It was fun, and I would do it again. I'm going to go do another roller coaster here, another crazy one. But that's the key. I think a lot of people, I'd say, the two biggest mistakes people have with overcoming their fear is they try to think that it's going to disappear, that they're going to have confidence first, and then they can do the thing. I was waiting for my fear of flying an airplane to stop before I flew an airplane, but it never will happen. There we go. It's never going to happen on its own. You've got to realize that courage is action in spite of fear, that courage is always going to require fear, and that you're going to have to act in spite of the fear if you want to overcome. And the second thing is trying to hide or suppress the feelings. You have to feel and experience the fear if you want to get over it. I use that same technique to get over the fear of flying. Now I don't have any problem, I fly all over the world, right? I use that technique to get over on getting on roller coasters, and from time to time, right, I'm still going to have new things that are like, I mean, this was quite an extreme roller coaster compared to the ones that I'd been on, so I had that fear again, and I had to force myself to get over it. And the other, I'll leave you with one last tip for overcoming fear, which is do it now, immediately. The longer you let fear fester, the more and more of your life it will take over, and you know, you can't appease fear. Fear, once it gets a stronghold in your life, it wants more and more and more, and it'll take more and more over your life. And that definitely happened to me. So when you feel afraid to do a thing, you know, within reason, go and do that thing. Don't delay it. Don't put it off. Don't say, oh, you know, I'm not gonna do it this time. Like, you know, I could have come here to this to SeaWorld today and said, I'm not gonna do the roller coaster. It's all right. But no, I felt afraid, so that's what compelled me to do it. And that's the key to overcoming your fear. All right. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. A little bit different from some of the other videos here, but I think this applies to anyone at any point in life. You know, whether it be from a physical fear or whether it be fear of embarking on a new business venture or doing something that scares you, that you think you might fail at. So if you like this video, subscribe to the channel. I'll talk to you next time. Take care.